going to turn 52 next month. Yes, I'm going to be 52 years old. I feel like, honest to God, Mike, I'm just getting started.
No one's going to be more competitive with me than myself. I'll tell you that.
For people listening to this on the fence, get off the fucking fence.
All good, and let this be a lesson learned that, communicating with people, especially when things don't go as planned, is very, very important, because now I don't have to resent Chris as a result of him being late. It's all good, brother. Much love. Thanks for joining us today. We've got episode 22.
Wow.
22? Yeah, and I stated that as a question. I think it's 22. We've done a lot of bonus content. I think we're going to go with episode 22 of the Mission Control podcast, brought to you by your host, Mike Stearns, with Ascend Digital Agency, proudly sponsored by the team at Roofer. Look, if you need things like instant roof measurements, clean and pristine proposals that will compel your prospective customers to buy, hit up the team at Roofer. Chris Scoville.
And the Instant Estimator. That Instant Estimator tool that they've launched now is a great way for them to...
Well, we got one of those too, so we're not going to promote that on this here podcast.
Look.
Chris, shut the fuck up. No, Instant Estimator as well. You have the ability to send those quotes in the proposal, get e-signatures. It's fantastic. It really is. And I love the team at Roofer. And thank you guys for help bringing the Mission Control podcast to life.
They're good people. Their culture. I talk to Richie all the time about... People talk about culture, I think, because it's such a buzzword, right? I mean, I've got 4 books over there on leadership and culture sitting in my bookshelf. But those guys exemplify culture. I mean, seeing them at RoofCon and how they interact with each other, and we work with Danny and Pete a lot over there, and they just exemplify culture. Richie's got a great way of hiring the right folks and then making them sticky to the company. I mean, my hat's off. I've known Richie for years, man. When they built that thing, it was $1 and a dream, man. And my hat's off, and my hair is off to Richie and the whole team over at Roofer. Knocked it out of the park, man.
The old twofer from Scoville, the hat and the hair. So there you have it. It doesn't get much better than that.
That's awesome.
What do you do, Chris?
I would say I help contractors. I help contractors as much as I can. So, I mean, professionally, my title is Executive Vice President at Service Finance, Director of Business Development. I mean, it's a big title. I think at the end of the day, it's pretty simple. I wake up, I serve others, I give, I train, I help, I inspire to help contractors make a better business. I like to make people laugh. I've been known to be pretty serious and intense, so I'm sure I've made some people cry. But at the end of the day, when I go to sleep at night, I feel pretty good about the activities that I do during the day to help other people and to give back to this community that we're building as much as possible. And I don't work with just roofers. I work with, if it goes in and on and around it, I work with it. So air conditioning, generator, plumbing, siding, windows and doors, pools, trees, like anything in this industry, anything goes. I know you and I travel in a lot of the same circles for roofers, but man, I'm talking 1 second I'll be talking to a roofer, and the next second I'll be talking to an electrician that's, looking to offer financing in his business. So my day's never boring and dull, man, at all.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good and succinct way of articulating what it is you do, and thank you for that. You mentioned you may have made people cry. It was brought to my attention that you may have gotten teary-eyed today. Why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, so as we had mentioned, I had a podcast that I just came back. We filmed up in a studio just up in North Palm Beach, and it's Signs Global. They do outsourcing, and I know that roofers actually partnered with them as well. I think we all know them, Thanes and them. They do a great job. So they help. She summed it up this way. She said, we help roofers get time back so they can spend more time with their family and with their friends and not being so in their business. They have great outsourcing services that they provide. So we're in the podcast, and just like this one, I have no idea what you're going to ask me. I like off the cuff. It's just real. It's authentic. She said, so Chris, which would you rather have right now? would you rather have more money or more time? And I said, more time, of course. And I looked down at my watch and I realized that today is the date of my anniversary of my father dying when I was 17. And immediately, dude, it just hit me. That just was like time. It was like time is what's important in life because we can't get that back. However, money, man, dude, I've lost it all. I've lost money multiple times in my life and made it back. We can do that. We can reinvent ourselves. We can go work for a different company. We can scrap a horrible thing that we're doing now and go out there and make it again. But when we watch the second hand go by on the watch, it goes by and it's gone. And you remember we were at dinner and you're like, hey, nice Breitling, right? I looked down yesterday and I filmed my Breitling and I did like this kind of like monologue. Time keeps moving forward. You can't ever get it. It's really kind of weird and kind of creepy, but we really can. This thing doesn't stop. So what we do with it during the day, dude, that's it. We can either take action, help other people, or you could just go do nothing and not get that time back. So it hit me right in the feels, man. I just was like, shit, I can't get my dad back. I can't get time back. And when I looked down and I saw the date, it all hit me all at once. And I was 17 years old, man. I was then the man of the man of the family, my mom and my sister. And I wasn't a grown man at that age. I didn't know what the hell to do. So yeah, man, it got me all up in feels today. So that podcast comes out and you hear Scoville get a little choked up. That's the reason why. It was a good one. It was definitely good.
Well, thank you for being vulnerable, and I'm obviously sorry for your loss. I lost my father at 18, so I can certainly empathize with, to some degree, with how you may feel. But you make a really good point. Time is a resource we have that's not replenishable, and I think that on a day-to-day basis, when we go through all the trials and tribulations that life has to send our way, which can be vast and plentiful, it's very easy. To take things for granted, to forget, right, what matters, and to allocate that time in a way that's meaningful and fulfilling.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. How do you handle trying to spend your time in the most fulfilling way possible amidst all the chaos?
I think I've become pretty committed to what's important and what's not important and what's worth giving up to gain in the long run. And I know that's loaded, but my days are quite structured. I go to bed pretty much at the same time each evening. My wife's a nurse, so I know her schedule. She knows that I love to do what I do. Some people call it work. I don't know. I show up and do the same thing every day. I don't call it work because I love this shit so much. It doesn't feel like work to me. Sometimes I have to laugh. I can't believe I'm getting paid for this. But anyway, I'm very structured. I get up early in the morning. I take my one dog for a half a mile walk. I have my coffee. I read my 10 to 15 pages out of my book. I'm pretty, I try to do some grateful things here. I do my workout in the garage. So I've taken time and I've learned how to maximize it. I get up early, and it's not one of those self-help books. Oh, I got to get up early in the morning and sleep 3 hours a night. It ain't like that. I know that I'm going to get up at 4:30 or 5. I know that I'm going to do certain things that I can maximize my time in the morning and do. Screw around on the internet, make a couple posts, read my book, take my dog for a walk, do the workout, eat a little breakfast, take a shower, and then boom, I'm in my office. And of course, we kind of live by calendars and stuff like that. And sometimes you're late for podcasts, but that happens. But I think just maximizing time there. So I know that it's Friday and my wife's on her way home, that we're going to wrap this podcast up. I'm going to kind of slow down a little bit, other than I do have some special projects I've got to get done as soon as we get this done, and my wife will be understanding and forgiving. But when it's done in here, she's going to be my priority. We're going to get on our bikes tonight. We're going to cruise the neighborhood, maybe have some wine or a couple beers, put some music in the back of the beach cruiser. We're going to go look at lights. We're going to go down to the boat area. We're going to have a pizza down and I live on the Intercoastal here in Deerfield Beach. We're going to go to Michael's on the Intercoastal and have a pizza together because we've already planned that out. So I think taking your time, structuring it, and using it well is probably how I maximize time,
Yeah, that's a really good point. Now, have you always been so routine? If not, when did it start? What was, I guess, the impetus for that?
I don't think so. I think I've had moments. I'm very, there's times of the year I think that I'm just fucking hyper on. I'm hyper on right now. I'm on the fucking ball. And when I'm up and it's all flowing, I go full bore with it because I know the flip side of this, there's some seasonalities to feeling and energy and drive that I might not be so on the fucking ball. So no, I don't think I've always been like this, but I do know that when I'm on and I'm riding that train and I'm going to take as much advantage out of being on that mode that I can. If I look back at life, I would say, yeah, I've always been kind of structured, but I think that over the last 5 years, I've really got things dialed in. And people are like, dude, you're going to turn 52 next month. Yes, I'm going to be 52 years old. I feel like, honest to God, Mike, I'm just getting started. I feel like the 50 years that I lived was an awesome warm-up. I've had tremendous losses that most people would be like, what? I've had tremendous start-overs when you lost everything. I've had divorces. I've lost relationship. I've lost loved ones. I've had to move 19 different times in my life. I've done a lot in the first half of the game. But I feel like when I turned like 49, met my wife, started making some major changes, right? Like, dude, I was a drug addict for 15 years. Nobody even knew it. I was addicted to cocaine. And quit cold turkey, I think I've been clean well over 12 years now. Nobody knew. I was a working addict, man. In the banking system, showing up Monday morning, working to Friday, and then I'd be hiding in my fucking room from Friday 8 o'clock to Sunday burrito fix. Like, back to work on Monday, on the stage, happy person, energy. Hey guys, I'm here to help you. You know, I've been in the trades business for a really long time on the finance side. I don't think anybody really knew I was an addict. And I'm clean. But I think that 50 years was like an educational period to say, okay, man, it's time. It's go time. It's time for you to really live life freaking awesome the next 50. So I haven't always been like this, dude. But I have always been oddly charismatic. My mom
Is that what you call yourself?
My mom always says, there's always been, she said it best last week. I wish she was on this. She'd be like, yeah, we told, Dad and I used to talk. There's something special about that kid. Something special? God. I was like, Mom, really? We always knew that there was something special.
Yeah.
I'm like, Mom, what?
I agree with her. Definitely.
What does that mean?
So,
Bro, I remember when I met you in Dallas a couple years ago. You walked up and you introduced yourself, and I was there with Beacon, right? Beacon and service, and you're like, hey, I'm in the digital space, let's team up, let's partner up, and I didn't give you enough attention.
No, in fact, it was in New Orleans, and you kind of big leagued me, bro. You kind of walked away. You're like, oh, hold on, I got to go talk to this person, and then you went and talked with somebody else, then you disappeared. I'm like, well, he's kind of a dick.
I didn't even realize it, and looking back, and I was thinking about this a couple months ago. I wanted to talk to you about it. I didn't mean to big league. I think that I was in a space at that time where I was trying to figure some things out, right? Like on the business side. Mm-hmm. And the attention that I didn't give you wasn't to dismiss you. It was because I was in one of those head frames where I was really trying to figure out a lot of stuff. Not on the personal side, but on the business side. Yeah. So you were there to network with me, and dude, freaking awesome if we would have been in alignment there. But I think I was in the same space you were. I was like, I need to go meet this partner. That, you know what I mean? So I think that we were there both for the same intentions. However, we weren't aligned at the time. But coming full circle now, we see that we're all helping the same community, and there's no competition. We're all in this together to help people win. So it's a good road that we traveled on, man. Definitely, for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. And, luckily, 2022, I committed to being less petty.
High five, bro. Me too. I come to Jesus with Tim Brown and freaking Benny Fish, and they're like, dude, you're aggressive. I'm like, am I?
Should have met me 5 years ago.
Dude, I'm fucking, look, Andy Frisella and Ed Milet are my coaches. They say to put my foot on the throat of the competition. I do it, no. But no, we had some good conversations with maybe a better approach to the industry is to not be so aggressive against your competitors, but to say, you know what, there's tons of business out there. Let's all work together and go forth. However, that will not change the competitive nature of myself.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. And no one's going to be more competitive with me than myself. I'll tell you that.
Amen.
It's a cape and a kryptonite. However, when you channel it effectively and you're self-aware, you do your best. I mean, that's all anyone could ask. So I don't want to gloss over a couple things that you mentioned. So first of all, congratulations on your sobriety. I, too, struggled with addiction in my early 20s, and it was a shit show. And by the grace of God, was able to make it out alive, and that beats the alternative. So I know how challenging that can be, and congratulations. That's fucking amazing, dude. Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You shot well on the front nine, but you're looking to birdie out on the back nine to finish under par is what I'm hearing.
If you're playing golf and understanding that, hell yeah, it sounds good to me.
Okay, all right, maybe work an eagle in there, and you know what? If you shoot a couple pars, it's all good, and we're not gonna chastise you for a bogey even.
Not afraid to drop a molly.
We get one of these a hole, right?
Mulligan.
Yeah.
Scoville, you're older. You've earned it. How old are you, Michael?
I am 34.
God, dude, you just, oh my God. Think about it. I'm just getting started at my age, right? You see momentum, and I'm looking at you. You guys are a bit younger than I am. You're my wife's age. And I'm like, God, dude, that's so awesome. You're so far ahead. Like, you don't feel it though sometimes, but man, you're so far ahead of where you even know you are.
It's always interesting. Thank you for that, first and foremost. It's always interesting trying to, I'd mentioned earlier taking things for granted. I try not to take things for granted, but I don't care who you are. To some degree, at some point, to varying degrees, you're going to take things for granted, right? All you can do is try to be aware of that and try to work through like appreciation, gratefulness. It's challenging, right? It's a real life challenge when, you're running 40, 50, 60, 80 hours, whatever the case may be, and it's tough to... So I'm the type of person where if I'm running a race and I'm about to break that threshold of the finish line, as soon as I go to cross that tape, it moves a mile down the road.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I get there again and it moves a couple miles down the road. And honestly, I don't... It helps a lot as far as productivity, but I have to be extra cognizant of it.
Yep.
So that, because it can oftentimes, you can be winning, but it can feel like losing.
Yeah. You know what my wife says I do?
What's that?
She says, you get that snowball to the top, and all you got to do is push it down the hill, and it's just going to roll. She goes, you'll go and create something else just to make another hill to keep pushing that snowball up.
Sounds like a smart woman. Sounds a lot like you, Chris.
Dude, she's so right. She is my third party. Like, if I'm thinking about something, I want to show her, hey, what do you think about this? Because she's not so close to it. She knows it, but she's not so close. She looks at it from a consumer standpoint, third party, non-objective. She'll come and she's like, no, take that word out there. No, that doesn't make any sense. Boom. And I'm like, you are a consultant. You don't even know that you're a consultant. Here's your check. Right, dude, we've got great women in our lives, man. They're understanding. They're patient. I mean, what you and I do requires to have a really good partner in supporting us.
Yeah, she's a real one, mine, and yours as well. So it's like we're fortunate. We're super fortunate because
I went through a lot of women to find that right.
You broke some eggs to make that omelet, did you?
God. Oh yeah, she ain't here. She's a nurse. She'll be the first to tell you he did go through a lot of women.
Oh, jeez. So,
oh, God.
What is the most, when you think of challenges, you've had resets, you've had start overs, you've had, reinvented yourself, you've dealt with a lot throughout your couple years here on planet Earth. What have you found to be the most challenging, and what did you take away from that?
I think the most challenging is always just kind of been myself. Like, I've been my own challenge. And I keep taking it back to, having the ability to pick yourself up, to move yourself forward has been the challenge. is I had said sometimes, I don't know, you follow Andy Frisella or not, doesn't matter. There was a time in his life when he was stuck on the couch while he was building his first form businesses, and he was watching a movie on repeat and eating food and watching a movie on Pacific Rim or something like that, if I can remember correctly from his different podcasts and whatnot. I feel like I've been my own blockade in growth sometimes more than any other factor. So the greatest thing that I've learned over the years is allowing myself to accept it, acknowledge it, and go, I'm not going to be blocking myself from moving forward in this time. Like, I'm going to allow myself to work through this thing to get forward and get out of this. So I think that if there's something that I've learned in life through the trials and the tribulations and the ups and the downs is I got to get myself through it. I've got to power myself through it. I've got to maybe lean on other people. I've got to put positive mindset things that I'm listening to and help myself get through it and be my own big super fan to get myself over and get that momentum in the times that I've had to restart over and reinvent, man. And I've made, 2008, 2009, I was in Rhode Island. I had a house out there in Western New York that I was renting right down the street from where you are, basically in Batavia. I was about to hop on stage and speak to 3,000 mortgage brokers at the National Mortgage Brokers Conference in Long Beach, California. I was in the wholesale construction and permanent lending business for 18 years. And we got the call at 8:30 in the morning in California that we were done, we were out of business, meaning the bank shut the mortgage division down. And this was a big bank out of Bethesda, Maryland, that I was working as a director for. And we all looked at each other like, okay, what do we do? So we got home and our jobs were done. We had maybe a 4-week severance package, and nobody wanted to hire me because I had 18 years of wholesale mortgage construction or permanent industry. I couldn't even walk into Home Depot to get a job. So I had to reinvent myself. And what did I do? I sold my house and I moved back to Western New York. And that's when shit went sideways, right? That was tough. It was a hard time to go back. I went backward, and I felt like I went backward in life.
I was going to say, you felt like you lost to some degree?
Yeah, I did. I felt like I lost, and then I got stuck in a dark hole for a lot of years, man. And then when I moved back down to Florida, that's when I picked myself back up. I became my own super fan, and then that's when the good things started to happen back in life. But man, packing it in, moving back home, living in Western New York, I had been gone for years. I moved when I was 19 and went back as an adult, and it just wasn't the same. So a lot of lessons were learned along the way, Scoville Home Services business. I opened up my own home service business there in Western New York. I did that for a while and tried different things and reinvented and ended up coming back down to Florida and eventually getting back into financing. Thank God, because this is really I'd love to help, contractors out with home improvement financing and stuff like that. So good stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing that you landed back in a position where you can pursue your passion. I was talking with somebody recently, actually a couple people recently on different occasions, but I'm licensed to practice real estate. I don't practice real estate. The reason why I don't do it is because I don't have the time, and I fucking hate it. Every minute or second that I spend doing something to do with real estate, paperwork, transactional, it feels like I'm working, where I can come here, work, from 7 in the morning till 7 at night, shoot content on Saturday, back to back, and it doesn't feel like I'm working at all. Like you said, right? It's like you put in 69 hours and it's Friday, but you don't feel like you put in any hours. Right?
I didn't know today was Friday.
Yeah.
I had a meeting after I finished that thing up in Palm Beach with some guys in the office at 3:00. I'm like, hey guys, is it Friday? They're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, great, awesome. Have a great weekend. They're like, yeah, we can't wait. I hang up. I'm like, what do you mean you can't wait? That's like fucking saying, thank God it's Friday. What do you mean, thank God? Thank God you woke up. How about that? My wife she'll be like, I'll hang up the phone shooting the shit with you or some other contractor. Yeah, motherfucker. We're high-fiving and laughing and chucking it up. And she'll yell at me from the other room on days off. I can't believe that you get paid to do what you do. You're an asshole. And I'm like, are you jealous? She's like, yes. Like, dude, when you love what you do, helping others, helping contractors win, being competitive, training, watching a guy like get a $65,000 roofing project funded because he had the right systems and processes set up, and watching that money go into his bank account. Like, dude, that stuff right there, like, makes the hair stand up on my arms. Like, nobody would understand that, but it does, man. I love it.
When you have a contractor that's new to financing,
Yeah.
what is some advice that you can give them as far
Like
as... Yeah.
Okay.
Because here's what I see. I see that, like, a lot of contractors, they know that they need it, but they have no idea what's involved in the process of getting somebody from the point of saying, I want your roof, to getting somebody else to pay for that roof and allowing them to repay it.
Yeah. Good question. So in our world, I'll let some trade secrets out, which is perfectly fine. There's two markets. There's called the take market and there's the make market. Take market is somebody that's been offering financing for years and understands the value of it because their customers need affordability and payment options, and allows unbelievable marketing companies like yourself to help them advertise and market to attract more consumers. They understand it. Me taking that market from another competitor is a different call than a make market, which is what you're talking about. Here's what a make market is. This guy's a contractor. I've been in business for a year, Chris. We're not offering financing at all. What do I do? It's super simple. I've done it so long that we can just have a simple conversation with him. One, I want to understand who his customers are. I want to understand if he's retail. We're just talking about roofing right now since it's our world. Are you doing retail? Are you doing storm restoration? Where are you? What's your demographic? Tell me who your competitors are, because then now I know what programs, products, and pricing he needs and what people can help support him in that particular area. Then I break it down to simplicity and make sure that he understands the value of financing and why he should be offering it anyway. Meaning, when you walk into Best Buy and you see a promotional offer on the side of the wall that says, buy your Apple computer now, no payments for 36 months. Does that make sense to you, John? And John goes, yeah, I finance stuff all the time. Great. That's why you should be offering financing through your roofing business, because your customers need affordability and payment options as well. Oh, that makes sense. John, are you taking credit cards? Absolutely. So you already are offering financing and you didn't even know it. So now we've tied in, okay, I get it, I understand it. And then I just go into the simple training. There's a point of sale, and you're going to go up on the roof, and you're going to come down and you're going to sit at the coffee table. Is it much better to throw down a $10,000 contract and wait for the pregnant pause? Or is it much better to say, hey, which would you prefer? 12 months same as cash? Or would $132 per month fit your budget better? And then you just shut the fuck up. Because the customer's going to answer you, and they're going to say, well, how much is the roof, Chris? And you go, well, the contract, we did the good, better, best. We're shooting for the best here with the upgraded gutters and the insulation super wrap end cap. It's $10,000. But I can make it affordable right now because we got some great promotional loans with our lenders, plural, that we use. Or if you want to fit a monthly payment into your budget, we can do that as well. By the way, none of these particular finance solutions have prepayment penalties. So you know what, John? You can pay it off whenever you want. So which option would be better for you today? We could take care of this in like 15 seconds with our mobile app. They got to answer you. So the quietness in the sale is when the consumer goes, well, shit, he just asked us a question. And you know this. That's when you as a sales professional and a consultant just don't say anything.
Yeah, that's a really good point, is shut the fuck up.
So then we let him answer. And then from there, like, I just kind of got into a little role play, which is fine. But that's how simple it is for me to talk to a contractor like this, is to make him understand it. He's already doing it himself. So why wouldn't a customer want to do it? I just was at Best of Success out in Arizona. And a really, really high-end contractor from Kansas was there. And she proudly walked up to me and she said, I don't offer financing at all. None of my customers need it.
Wouldn't you rather them not need it and have it if they did?
I didn't even want to argue with her. I said, you've got the best customers in the world. I wish you the best, because 23 and 24 are going to be definitely interesting. People are going to need to use some leverage from the lenders. I mean, look at the top 200. The top 200 list came out today, qualified remodeler. It came out this morning. If you don't have it, I'll send it to you. 87+% are using our financing program on that list. The top 200 national, 87% of those are our customers. And they're on the top 200 for a reason, because they offer affordable payment options. Now, the other 13% also use financing, but maybe they use a competitor of ours. But everybody on the top 200 offer financing. But this little gal over here from Kansas is super proud that she doesn't use financing at the point of sale. She's taking cash and credit cards and home equity.
And I think it's important to note, like, you can have more than one provider too, right?
That's why I said plural.
Right.
We work with many lenders. And the reason for that is not everybody has prime credit, number one. Number two is you don't want to pigeonhole yourself as like you've got all the aces, because if that shit goes sideways and they don't get approved, you're not blaming yourself. You're blaming the freaking lender. Look, Mrs. Smith, unfortunately, we couldn't get you approved. Do you have a cosigner? No. Well, do you have a local bank that you work with? No. Well, I just can't help you. You don't want to make the roofer is the roofer. Lenders are the lenders. They're the third-party people. They're either going to help you or they're not going to be able to help you. But you do a little bit of a takeaway and say, hey, and you also want to keep the offer to, we've got a few promotional programs, because you want them to ask you what the hell that means. Or if you'd prefer a low monthly budget option, we have those as well. So saying it just like that gets their mentality going, promotion? I need to take advantage of a promotion? When is the promotion going to expire? That word is very key in the sales, at the sales point of sale.
So removing service or any other company from the equation.
Yes.
If a contractor is not familiar with choosing a partner and they are at the point where, okay, it's ready, we're gonna it's just like somebody on Google. We need a roof, we just don't know who. So we need financing, we just don't know who. What are 3 things that they should be aware of when making a choice to partner with a finance company?
The contractor, not the consumer.
Yes.
Okay. Right now, in this current environment, a contractor looking to hook up with any finance company, and by the way, I'm agnostic when I talk to people about financing, because I don't know if our company is the perfect fit. So I'm very, let's just talk. So I do everything from a very consultative manner. The things that they'd want to look for right now, and I'm going to say right now for a specific reason, and I'll tell you why. Make sure that they're a bank. Make sure that they're legit, that they're big enough, and they've got lots of money in their accounts. Okay, so typically look for an FDIC institution, a large lender, somebody that's is worth something. I would say ask your cohorts in the groups that we have, right? Hey, who are you using for financing? Like if I'm a roofer and I know other roofers, I'd probably ask locally, maybe not in my competitive market, who they're using, because they're not going to want to tell you because they don't want the same rates, programs, and processes anyway. I would ask some cohorts. And then 3, upon interviewing said finance institutions, I'd ask them to back up the real data, right? I'd have a real conversation with the finance company to say, how long you been doing it? What's your approval rate? How long you guys been in business? What type of support am I going to get? That's also very good. Any finance company can sign up anybody. But especially to your point, Michael, when you're signing up a new guy that's never offered it, there's 2 things that are really, really important. Number 1, training. Number 2, support. Anybody can sign somebody up and say, hey, here you go, here's your financing, see you later. What happens when that guy gets his first finance job in a month from now and he forgot everything that you taught him? Is he going to have the ability to pick up the phone and call his sales rep or a dealer concierge or a senior manager to help him out? Make sure that the finance company has layers of support and service for your sales reps out there at the point of sale. Because the sales reps ain't going to remember everything. They're already thinking about the 3 jobs that they got and the 2 that they lost during the sales training. You got to make sure that they have a phone that they can call their rep and get help at the point of sale if they get all jammed up. Now, here's the particular reason why, if you're going to find a lender, that you want to shoot for somebody that's super legit, like FDIC insured. And it's not about FDI insured like the insurance is going to protect the bank when they go out. It's not about that. Here's what it's about. We're about to head into some very interesting economic times, whether people want to admit it or not. Everybody's out shopping. They're in Walmarts, they're at Targets, at the stores. There's Black Friday. People are spending money like we've never seen before. And the shit's about to hit the fan in 23 and 24. lending institutions, when COVID hit, stopped funding tech finance people, brokers that were not real lending institutions. I'll tell you who the real ones are in the game. Stopped funding. So guys have installed roofs and they needed to get paid, and they're calling this lender. And the lender didn't have funds to fund it. It's a shit show. So if that is to happen in the next 2 years, if you happen to be with a Wells Fargo, Synchrony, Service Finance, Green Sky, Interbank, anybody Fifth Third, Regions, right? The real lenders, they've got enough money to fund you. So it's very important that you're also with a lender that services their loans. The folks that are actually going to be dealing with your customer for the next 10 years on that loan. You want to make sure that they service their own loans and not farming out overseas. Because that's your customer that you're going to get reviews, referrals, retention, and rewards from going forth. Make sure that the lender that's with them for the next 10 years getting payments is servicing them as well. So that's just I'm on the soapbox. I didn't mean to go that far into it, but
no, you're good.
Okay.
What's a dealer fee?
Dealer fee is the cost to do the loan. So money costs money, right? Mm-hmm. Without a bank charging money on the money from Wall Street, because they've got to get it somewhere and then they got to go and sell it. They got to bundle them up and sell them on Wall Street, because they're not housing them all. They're not all putting them in their portfolio to make money off of these. They get housed up and bundled up, just like in the mortgage industry, as you understand from real estate. So money costs money. There are no dealer fee programs, and we actually have two really good ones. But anyway, no dealer fee programs will typically be a higher interest rate. But actually, right now, the way the feds have increased them, our no dealer fee programs are like below the mortgage interest rates right now. So this is like a flip-flop thing for an unsecured loan. Needless to say, if the consumer wants a fancier product, like a 12-month same as cash, an 18-month with pay deferred, a hybrid combo, a 699 5-year, a 699 15-year, that money costs money to get that from Wall Street. So there has to be some type of payment on that money. I don't really want to get into the legalities of how it works, but typically contractors that are selling retail and selling finance as a product, just like nails, just like the wrap, just like the tiles, just like the asphalt, just like all the products, financing is actually a product that is sold within the cost of the goods, because it's the tool to get the job to fund.
Sure.
So a contractor, I would take a matrix. Whoa, I lose you? Okay. I would take a matrix of 60 or 70 programs. I'd break it down to 5 or 6. And he'd say, okay, cool, these are all under 7%. I'd take my retail book, and because financing is a product, I'm going to probably make an adjustment to my retail book of 7%, just like the goods. And now when I go out to market on Monday, instead of selling a $10,000 roof today, if I built in a 7%, I'm using basic math, core mathematics. I'm going to sell the roof for $10,700. Well, what if they buy the no dealer fee program? Well, it's the cost of goods. Cash equals credit. Because you don't know if somebody's going to hand you cash. They're going to give you an insurance check. They're going to use a credit card. Or if they're going to use one of your finance programs. So by building a 7% margin into there, because you're offering financing, it allows you to move within the matrix of different dealer fees. One's 0, one's 1.5, one's 2, one's 7, one's 9. If you build a margin in there, the zero cost averaging as the year goes, the mixed blend of those particular products, you'll end up winning. But you'll also end up helping a lot of consumers along the way. Because if you couldn't give them affordability and payment options, you might not have been able to sell the job. So dealer fees, just like in mortgage, right? When you get a mortgage, now they're high, right? You want to buy that mortgage from 8% down to 6%, the bank probably charges 2 points. That's kind of the same way you could kind of look at a dealer fee. Money costs money. It's built into it. However, in indirect lending, consumers don't do money exchanges with banks.
Right.
Contractors offer finance programs. So it's safe to say contractors will build in a product margin within the cost of goods so they can offer affordability and payment options.
That makes a lot of sense. What is the most frequently used product offer, right? Is it 6.99% interest for 5 years?
9.99, 10 years.
9.99.
Number one home improvement product ever, and that's all asset classes. Air conditioning, windows and doors, roofing, siding, kitchen and bath, flooring, Generators. Solar, we're not talking about solar. That's its own. Don't even go there with me. I'm talking about real home improvements.
I know what my spicy take's going to be at the end.
So 9.99, 10 years, no prepayment penalty. You're looking at $10,000 on that. It's $132 a month. Super affordable, unsecured, so it's not leaned on the property. It's not a tax-based program like a PACE or anything like that. It's real unsecured lending based off of the consumer's credit and debt to income, which we call the ability to repay. However, these are all stated as well. So no longer do you have to get tax returns and all that stuff. It's like scan, approved, electronic signature, great. Corey goes out, builds the home, roof is done, gets paid. It's such a simple process, man. So easy, an air conditioning guy can do it.
So let me ask you this. You're aggregating and saying, on average, this is the most popular product that's picked, right? 10 years, 9.99%, no prepayment penalty. And I could see why that would be the case. It's affordable, makes your commitment to your monthly expenditure small, and if you choose to pay it sooner, fantastic. You're not going to get penalized for doing that. That too makes a lot of sense. Have you seen any correlation in high income pockets where there's a different product that is more commonly used, like something like 12 months, same as cash? Or is there anything like that, or is it for the most part across the board?
From a banking perspective, we wouldn't really have that because that'd be redlining, and pushing one product on one customer is just something that they don't do on a compliance level. That's why the question is always asked to a consumer at the point of sale. Well, good contractors would do it this way. You keep it open. Hey, were you thinking about a promotional program? Or were you thinking about a low monthly payment option? Because we've got many different products within that. Well, what type of promotional stuff you got? Well, I've got 12 months same as cash, 18 months with pay deferred. On the low monthly payment, it really depends. Would you like to pay this off in 5 years, 10 years? Or would you like to really have the payment $96 per month and pay it out over 15 years with no prepayment penalty? So by structuring and asking those questions, no matter what market you're in, because we never really know what somebody has and what they don't have. So by asking it so open-ended, we'll better be able to serve if we're dealing with a cash buyer. That's somebody that has a cash that doesn't want to spend it, but they want to leverage it. Or we're dealing with a payment buyer. They need it, they want it, they have to have it, but they have to stay in a freaking budget.
So, like, redlining would be offering products based on what somebody's financial profile.
I would say it more like a predetermined,
right?
A predetermined idea that I'm going to judge somebody by the car that they have, and they're going to have. But our financing doesn't work that way. You know why? They don't make money on the money. They get paid to install a roof. That's the cool thing about unsecured financing in the home improvement space across all except for two brokers that are out there, which I won't name them. They're brokerage. They're not lenders. They get paid on the money. Let's just take those guys off. They're not real lenders anyway. See, that's that aggressive side of Scoville. If a contractor got paid points, made money on the money to offer different products, dude, that'd be a different story. Because what would they be doing?
They'd be making money on the money.
Yeah, they'd be pushing people over to a different product, and then the lender pays them on the backside for pushing. That does not happen in a real lender situation. And I'm not going to name the companies that are doing it right now, but there are companies out there that are paying people to use finance programs. And you can see how a bunch of sales reps could go out there and push people to one product. That's not good. You want to keep it open and help the customer as much as you can across the board by leaving it open.
Yeah, so, and I guess just to clarify, my question was more so not in the positioning or framing of what products are being offered. More so, is there a correlation between like contracts that are executed and the programs that are used to finance that project? Is there a correlation based on if you're in an inside of a city, if you're in a suburban area? No?
It's all over the board. Yeah, it really is. Some people just want to pay loans off fast. They're like, no, man, I don't want to pay this thing. I don't want a 10-year loan. I've got tax return that's coming in a couple months. Just let me do that 6 months, same as cash. They don't even care.
You know, I think back to like 22-year-old Mike who financed a car and paid whatever, like 17% or something ridiculous because my credit sucked. Because when I was 18, I opened up credit cards and I didn't pay them. Whatever.
Yep.
And I always...
at the college booth. Welcome to college. Hey, you need a credit card. Come on over here, kid.
Right. Yeah, you got these $40,000 in student loans. Why not have a credit card? You could live more comfortably in the meantime. Anyhow, I think about how many times I was offered the opportunity we can get you in this program, and you could always pay it off early. I never fucking paid it off early.
Yeah.
What is there data on the percentage of people that actually take advantage of paying off the loan early with no fee?
Yes.
What percentage of people actually pay it off early?
In the promotional side, quite a bit, because I would have to say the correlation to the qualification to get that is the driving factor of the non-default.
What's the qualification to get that?
It's prime credit, so anything over a 660 would qualify for a prime loan. And I use 660 loosely and lightly because we have tons of programs and pricing. But typically people that lean towards a promotion, they're typically used to buying things on promotional and paying them off. Because the whole reason why they took the promotional loan without interest is because they don't pay interest on anything, and they're freaking proud of it.
So it wasn't 22-year-old Mike with a 530 credit rating living hand to mouth. It's the guy that could pay it if they wanted to, but they're going to reap some sort of benefit by...
And I do all sorts of trainings on this as well. I've got a whole training class that I do on determining, one, if we're working with a cash buyer or are we working with a payment buyer. And then the cool part of my training is, well, what if they're a combination of both? Like how I did that with my hand. So we've got hybrid programs that can take the objections off the table on somebody that's, well, I don't know if I can pay it off in 12 months, and I don't really know if I want to have a 10-year loan. We've got a hybrid program that combines both, a 12-month same as cash that rolls over to a low monthly fixed option, and it can give somebody 12 months of no payments whatsoever, and then on month 13 it rolls over to $132 per month with no prepayment penalty. And that's, I call it matrix flow. That's a whole training and sales training class that I teach to contractors that are like on Corey's level that have been in the industry, and their sales presentation can happen at the point of sale where we're still aligning the consumer with multiple options. However, if a consumer objects to something, that the sales professional can go, okay, cool. And they just glide over here. And if there's another objection, well, there's a hidden objection. They glide over here and they object again, and we take them here, and then boom, we land here because they can't object anymore. I call that matrix flow.
How long does it typically take to train, let's say, a sales team of 5 people to effectively implement financing into their sales process?
45 minutes.
Bullshit.
Nope. I could probably tag a whole bunch of people and they'd say it took them 45 minutes to train me and my crew. It's systematic. It's programmatic. It's offered through a mobile app. And the matrix flow is only concentrating on 4 programs. So if they can sit down and honestly look at somebody and say, hey, would you prefer a promotional program or would you prefer a low monthly payment? They're going to say something. If they object, then you go, okay, great. So you're not looking to pay interest. So would an 18-month with payment deferred work for you? Well, I don't know if I can pay it off in 18 months. Okay, great. So it doesn't look like you can pay it off there. So was it payment or price? Back over on the other side. And they'll go, well, it was really the price. Okay, so what you're saying now then, if I can get this for $96 a month, would that work for you? Yes, that would work. So scenarios, objections, non-objections, doing it in 5 different particular programs. And at the end of the training, they'll get it. They won't get 100% of it, but they'll be able to go out and sit in front of a customer, scan a driver's license, get them approved in 15 seconds, have them sign electronically, shake their hand, get the permit, and build the roof. It ain't rocket science.
Sure.
But the training is 45 minutes to get them up and out of the house. Now, will they say it as smoothly as you and I? Probably not. But it's enough for them to get out there and effectively close deals 100%. We do it every single day. We'll do damn near $4 billion this year in it. So,
$4 billion.
And that, trust me, that's just a little piece of the pie. It's a little piece of the pie, man. It's a lot of the pie, but it's a little piece of the pie. Consumers are still paying cash. Consumers are still using credit cards. They're still walking into a credit union and giving them tax returns and everything else to get money, and then bidding contractors. We could do you and I could do a whole podcast on why financing allows the contractor to have control at the point of sale. Like, why would you ever if you got somebody live in front of you that's ready to say yes to you, and you go, well, what bank are you guys going to bank at? And they're like, oh, we're at XYZ Credit Union. Cool. When are you headed down there? Well, it's Friday. I've got next Wednesday off. I think we'll head in and we'll go talk to Johnny B behind the counter and we'll apply for a loan. And that's going to take him another week to get some type of an approval. Meanwhile, he's lost the flavor of even buying the thing. But here's what happens. When you've given the consumer the power, and money is power, by the way. When you give them money, what do they know? Now they're a fresh buyer. So they will now have the ability to bid, call other roofers. They've already got your bid. They know what the cost is. Now they got the money. Now the peacock feathers come out. We got $10,000. The contract's $10,700. Yeah, ABC, could you come on over here and give me that XYZ roofing product for 10? We've got $10,000 cash. ABC comes in and they look at the guy and go, I'll do it for 10 cash.
Yeah.
And the poor guy that said, hey, what credit union do you guys go to? Okay, call me when you get your money. Bye. Bitch.
That's a really interesting point. I could see the benefit.
Give control. And I'm not saying control in a mean way. I'm saying control in a manner of, like, customers want to be taken care of. Customers want you to be in control when you're a professional and you offer value. If you can offer financing at the point of sale and wrap the deal up right now for me, thank God. Because I don't have the time to go to the credit union. I don't know where my tax returns are. I don't even like John. And
John's
I need this
a nice guy.
John's a nice guy, but I need this fucking roof done now. I don't want to wait a week and a half. But the moment that you give the customer power, they're going to shop you. They're going to bid you. They're going to buy you.
What's the lowest monthly payment you've seen for a roofing system?
Oh my God, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to the contracts. I don't look that deep into them. I mean, look, a $10,000 roof is on a 799 15 years, $96 a month. Like $96 a month. A really good friend of mine up in Virginia area, his entire company is based, it's called 79 Wholesale Roofers, roofs from $79 and under. And I think he's basing that off of like a $6,873 asterisk below. So he markets roofs from $79 on his trucks. It's branded. And all he sells is payment. Now, they may look at that and go, dude, I want a $79 roof. And he's going to go, well, that was based on X squares at $7,966. The cost of your roof, sir, is $12,600. It ain't $79. Well, that's false advertising. Well, that's not from me to call my company that, but it's quite brilliant.
Yeah, I can see both sides of it. I could see how. I mean, you'd have to have a good sales team to handle that objection.
He does. He's got them locked and loaded, man. That guy just offers financing all day long because he's selling low monthly payments.
It's something more people should do. I know, there's tons of people that offer financing and they don't. It's not something that they promote in the form of monthly payments. Like if you sit down at a car dealership, they don't fucking remind you every step of the way that truck's $70,000. And people sell a lot of cars, right? That's why, you talk about like used car salesmen or car salesmen in general, like they're usually pretty fucking good at sales. There's a lot of money that goes in that industry into training people.
What's that guy, the TO manager that comes, he writes $691. If we can get your payment to $691, are we going to do this deal today? It's never, if we get this to $83,745.76, will you do this deal today? It's like broken down to the simplistic, where we need to be monthly for this to work for you?
Yeah, we're just 3 cups of coffee away. So
and then once you get into that monthly payment, they're so broken down that they're like, but home improvement financing sales isn't really like that. Like, you have a need or a want in home improvement, like your air conditioning's broken and you're going to die. Like you're either going to melt or you're going to freeze. So you have to have it. Or your roof has a hole in it and you're not covered by insurance or it's not being replaced. Like, oh shit, our entire house is going to fall in. Like, that's a grudge purchase. Then there's the want purchase and the need, the kitchen and the flooring. You don't need them, but you want them. Those are all different types of sales within the home improvement that sell differently.
Sure.
So once you've tapped into the specific emotional side or the need or the want, we can do a whole other training on that too. You as a sales professional can better position the financing in front of them to make it work to get the sales.
All right, we got a lot of trainings to do.
You're in a brilliant position. The fact that you work with such great roofers. I mean, I had a conversation with a guy last week, dude, and I wish I could tell you his name. He told me how much he's paying you. He goes, I ain't going anywhere else. I give the guy X amount of dollars per year. I was like, whoa. But dude, your company's doing that good of a job. Wish I could remember who the hell it was. Oh, I know who it is. Anyway, dude, he loves you. And this was not a call where we were talking about SEO and anything. It was just like, I got it. I looked at his website and I knew who built his website. And I said, you work with Stearns? He goes, how'd you know? I said, buddy, I'm in this fucking industry. They don't do this for a hobby. I looked at the website and I knew it was his. I'm not going to give your trade secrets out, but I knew how it was yours. And I knew that he was working with you. And he's like, this is unsolicited. Guys, we didn't even know we were going to talk about this shit today. He's like, I love that fucking guy. He goes, I pay him X amount of dollars. He goes, but I'll gladly keep fucking paying him that money. I don't even know if I called you or texted you afterward. But anyway, it was kind of cool when you get that whole, like, when somebody starts talking shit about your guy out there in the industry and you're like, yeah, that's my man, Michael, man. I was like, that's cool. I said, I know Michael for years. He does a good job.
making a boy blush.
That was good. Hey, dude, when somebody gives somebody a compliment, when they don't even know that that's what that person is, that's the best shit right there. You're like, yeah, I've arrived.
Yeah, that's what it's about, man. We do our best to deliver the best results and to boot the same type of experience, right? To parallel those results. So, whomever that was that had that conversation with Chris, if you're watching, I appreciate you. Love our clients, those that we currently have, and those that will be onboarded in the very near future.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it's and to be fair, I'm sure that included a lot of ad spend. You know, Mike's not getting rich anytime soon.
It's funny. I know how, I don't know how your side works, man. But you're right. I mean, it's tremendous amount of ads. If I could say something else, because we're so large scale and we're national and we really have our finger on the trigger. And this is by no means a plug for people listening to this on the fence. Get off the fucking fence, because let me tell you this, the top national, I can't say who they are. There's some top national home improvement people in the industry, and I'm not going to see what asset class it is. Now I'm really going to keep it wide open. Leads are down 30% right now. They're down.
Yeah.
Car lots are down 40%. So if you are looking or thinking about getting your shit and your systems and your processes dialed in, do it now. Because this is when companies either do one or two things. They go this way, or they go this way, and there's times when there's an economic situations going on, is when you can go this way or you can go this way, or you can stay flat and just, pay the bills. But there's a lack of, it's starting to slow down a wee bit out there. So get your shit dialed in. If you're listening to this, get it dialed in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I made a guide for contractors specifically on like what I spoke about at the event in Florida. When I was on the stage there, and it's like leveraging local Facebook community groups and building your brand in there and essentially turning that shit onto autopilot so that your customers are so enthralled with your company so they're on there and consistently tagging you. So I did like a step-by-step guide, and like Tim Brown asked me on his podcast yesterday, when do you do it? Fucking a year ago, day one.
Yeah, when's the best time to plant a tree? 5 years ago.
Yeah, because, it's one of those things where you can throw money at leads, and the cost of those leads are going to vary, whether you're doing it through Google Ads, you're buying it through telemarketing, you're running your own social media ads, whatever. And then there's some shit that you can do in like sweat equity, right? And the more sweat equity that you have, the more leads that you're generating just at the cost of invested time, whether it's yourself, a salesperson, multiple salespeople, office people, those are going to help keep your profit margins higher as well, right?
Portfolio. You got to be diversified. Through
Yeah, you should have a
marketing
handful.
portfolio. Yeah.
Right, and you should have a handful of different ways that leads are coming to you. It should be Google for sure, and there's different aspects of Google. You should have presence on social media. You should have repeats and referrals. But every hand that every cookie jar you could have your fucking hand in, like stick your hand in there and pull some cookies out.
Fuck yeah, man. Cast that net, man. Get some.
I'm a fat boy. I love cookies. Give me all the fucking cookies,
Dude,
right?
I've got, my wife makes, there's so much cookie. I'm hungry. I haven't had any lunch. And I got poppycock.
It's good shit. Yeah, and it's one of those things, I said it yesterday. It's don't wait until you see the symptoms to take the medicine. Start doing that shit now, because every year, especially during, the holiday season, right? Thanksgiving hits, and you've got Christmas right around the corner, the New Year. That shit, there's always a lull, especially in the time of economic despair and uncertainty.
Oh, yeah.
So it's worse, I feel, this year than most. But it's usually pretty shitty during that time anyway. Same thing, like, I would say between 4th of July and Labor Day.
Yeah.
Usually, right. So it's like, if you do that shit now and you bring into your local community groups all these brand ambassadors that are talking about ABC Roofing, ABC Roofing, ABC Roofing, and it's just fucking plastered in 5 different Facebook community groups in your local community that you service, this time next year, you will have more organic social reach, opportunities presented as a result of that. If you just do it, you got to do the shit you don't want to do. It fucking sucks, whatever, but you know what? Once you build that ecosystem, it's self-sustaining.
Is that a service that you can offer, or is that something that you're telling contractors that they need to do themselves?
They need to fucking do it themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get into their private groups and do that stuff. Yeah.
No, and nor do I want to. I want to focus on what we focus on. I want as little amount of friction in our process
you guys
as possible.
You want to add that much more valuable to the relationship and say, hey, we're going to do this out of the pie, which is this. You're responsible for some guerrilla marketing over here. You're responsible for some door hangers over here. You're responsible for this Facebook group over here. And by the time that it's done, we got a nice mutual fund portfolio, some aggressive, some conservative, some I'm going to do, some sweat equity on you. Everybody in your organization is a sales professional, even the lady at the front door.
Yep.
Word.
That's it, dude. And so I created a guide. It breaks down how do you find these Facebook groups, right? So there's a way to systematically find and isolate these opportunities. And then from there, there's a process in your sales process. There's a component of your sales process that should be bringing those people into that ecosystem, right? So I created a guide. It's very simple. Nothing rocket science-esque. But you got to do it. You got to execute.
Oh, wait. You got to do the work?
You got to do the work.
My dog's like, Dad, can I have some of that poppycock?
Yeah, it smells great.
She's like, it's dinner time, baby.
What questions do you got for me? Do you got anything for me? I've berated you, so now I feel it's only fair to open the table to you.
I'll just say one. I mean, you guys are just, how are you going to start treating 23? Are you copacetic? Everything's good? You got anything new that you're launching? Is there anything I can do to help you grow your business other than what we're already doing in all these groups and communities?
Yeah, I mean, copacetic would be a good word. We're doing well, right?
Okay.
We're growing. We're continuously growing. We got some shit in store for 2023.
Let's not talk about that. One thing I did want to ask that came to mind just now. What areas do you specialize in, and what areas are you maybe opening in? Are you going to stay specialized in foot surgery with what you guys do now? Like, are you looking to get in any other areas?
Yeah, we're going to operate on mad feet. All right.
Okay.
We're going to start creating a line of orthopedic shoes for post-op. Yeah, so we focus on marketing for contractors, and we work almost exclusively with roofers at the moment. So will that change over time? It may. We have a pest control company. It's an amazing client. They referred to us by an amazing roofing client of ours, and we got a video testimonial. Yeah, so they're 100% year over year. They're out of Tennessee. They're fucking fantastic. I love them. So it's the beautiful thing about what we do is all it really is finding out what exactly our end game is for that client, and then reverse engineering if it's organic, how people are ranking, what's their backlink profile look like, what type of content are they writing, and then just outdoing what they're doing.
So you'd be okay with me referring a window and door company to you?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Happy to know a few.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Always
Excellent.
happy to help. Listen, man, I really appreciate you coming by. I think that I think you've cleared the air on a lot of things that people might be wondering but won't necessarily ask. So I'll be making sure to chop that shit up into reels and be sending it out all over the interwebs.
I've learned so much about you, and I'm glad that we've gotten to know each other since we met a couple years ago. Dude, you're really bright. Like, you asked some really freaking good questions today, which, again, anybody watching this, if you watch in your entirety, you'll know that this shit ain't scripted, man. Like, your questions that you asked me weren't going to be things that I brought up today that contractors need to know. And it's all going to, I hope people watch this, man, because, dude, we laid down nuggets today that can take people from a $1 million roofing company to a $5 million roofing company.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you. I appreciate the kind words. And nobody's watching anymore at this point. But what we will do is chop that shit up into reels, have all those nuggets parsed out, and we will spam their feed, good sir, to make sure that all the really important parts they are getting. So, again, I am very, very grateful for you, Mr. Scoville. Thanks for stopping by. And, ladies and gentlemen, episode 22, we go.